Hey guys, Cdrama Invasion here, and it's already the end of the month. So here we are with the wrap-ups. I actually started this month off trying to get into dramas again after being in a slump and being in a busy schedule. So what got me into that was actually shorter K-dramas, and it was actually Duty After School, which is a drama with 2 seasons. Saw it trending all on Twitter and TikTok, so decided to give it a try. This is a show about a school that is under attack by basically alien invasions. And I thought, for one of the first sci-fi shows, I know that they tried the Silent Sea and other things in K-dramas. I think this is one of the more successful ones, and it was very well produced. It was very much similar to All of Us Are Dead, except instead it's with aliens. So if you liked that drama, you would like this one. I recommend staying like 2 episodes and see if you can stomach it. There are just so much blood, guts, and gore, and basically everybody is on the chopping block for this one. Like, even American shows, I feel like they don't show as much violence and graphics sometimes, or maybe it just hits harder because you get to see these characters and stay with them for a little bit longer. Like, literally after the first 2 episodes, I knew season 1 was going to be a 9 or a 10 out of 10 for me, and it really was. It stayed very intense the entire time. I think there's like only 6 episodes, so you can definitely binge this in 1 sitting, or maybe 1 and 2 sittings. There are some light comedy scenes too, which I appreciate. The characters were actually very unlikable at first. There's a bunch of characters, and I think they've done it in a realistic way. I couldn't stop watching, and the way that the government handled the situation was terrible. I felt so bad for all the poor citizens who were slaughtered, and these invasive species were actually so creepy. Netflix got that budget and it looked great. I know that Sweet Home, even though it's one of my favorite K-dramas, had some moments where I could tell the CGI was off. I feel like this one's better because they only needed to do parts of the alien and it looked really realistic anyways. It's scarier than zombies, and that's because these species, like, they're super flexible, agile, and fast. Meanwhile, you have like a bunch of kids waving around their weapons and just trying to run for their lives. Yes, there were those typical moments like in a horror movie where you're like, don't do that, that's not a good idea. But I guess they can't think straight. One moment that really got me frustrated was there's like the scene where these 3 or 4 girls were running away from these aliens, and then they tried to run into a car. One of the girls got in and she accidentally locks out the rest of her friends while they're being chased, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's horrifying. But I guess in a panic and you can't think straight, or you're just so traumatized, you're just trying to breathe, but I guess you forgot the person behind you. I don't know. Lots of different moments where you're like frustrated, but it's realistic because of this. It's like, okay, they don't make the smartest decisions, but they're not doing like the dumbest things either. They're just humanistic mistakes. So interesting. It was hard to find people that I absolutely loved, to be honest. Besides the main commander, I thought he did such a great job. So charismatic. Acting across the board was pretty good, and the writing, the pacing was tight. There were just moments that were just insane and heartbreaking. Now, I absolutely love this drama for getting me out of the slump. However, I don't know if I can recommend it because season 2 is just the worst thing ever. I watched it and it literally ruined the entire essence of season 1. So if you complete season 1, right, and you want to watch season 2, just know that it's not going to be as alien heavy as we thought it would be. It's more the characters trying to fight and like talk things out, different miscommunication, and just dealing with the aftermath of everything of season 1. Season 1, I would give a 9.5. Season 2, I would literally give a 3 out of 10 because the ending was just nonsensical, in my opinion, and really random. I honestly think season 1 could have been on its own, just add an extra 10 minutes or like an extra episode even of like, okay, moving forward, this is how they solved it or how the world dealt with it after. Truly such a shame. Season 2, I don't know if you guys like season 2. Make sure you put the spoiler tags if you're going to talk about spoilers. Definitely leave your comments and thoughts down below and explain to me why, especially what happened to Wanbin, that commander. Like, so many plot holes and unanswered questions. It was very frustrating and sad because I binge watched the entire thing in a day and I just left disappointed, but I still loved that first season so much. So yeah, if you have time on your hands and you're looking for something different and refreshing, this will give it to you. See conflicting thoughts, like love the first season and hated the second. Anyways, moving forward, after that, I was like, okay, now I'm craving something apocalyptic vibes. So I watched Happiness, which is another K-drama, quite popular, starring Han Hyo-joo and Park Hyun-sik. This one was actually slower than I expected. Coming off of duty after school, a little bit disappointed. I wanted that adrenaline rush, and I think it was a misconception. And with all the posters and like little trailers I've seen with the zombie-filled like things, I didn't expect it to be this slow. So this is a story about two people who were like friends in high school. They meet again and she proposes for them to live together and get married so she can get this free apartment, which is a benefit of certain, I think, police officers or certain government workers. So they live at this high-end luxury apartment, and there are a bunch of characters in all these apartment floors. You kind of learn more about them as you go on. And of course, a virus breaks out and all hell breaks loose, but it doesn't really until the second half of the show. I feel like for a show that is kind of like zombies, I was expecting a little bit more zombies. Instead, we got a bunch of different people, especially the rich and very opinionated people, a little bit frustrating and annoying, but it was super addictive. I don't think this was scary or intense. There wasn't even that many like jump scare moments or anything. In terms of blood and gore, I would say this is pretty tame. So if you can't handle dramas like All of Us Are Dead or Duty After School, then give this one a try. The romance wasn't a lot either, so I was expecting a lot. Like, everybody was hyping up this couple and they look great together, but we didn't get to see so much romance until the later half, and this is because the main couple has been like friends forever, so it's not going to give you those cute, fluttery, romantic moments that you expect. Most of the times they are just trying to deal with other people's shit and clean up after people. When they tell the entire residents, hey, this is a bad idea, there's clearly a virus going on, we need to be on lockdown, of course nobody listens. And there was also this thing where the villains never died. Like, they literally got away with so much things and they got called out, they got caught for like cheating, for like doing terrible things to other people, but they barely faced any consequences. They keep on getting away with things, and that annoyed me to no end. I just hate that, and it could have been easily avoided, so another negative there. Overall, there were some good things. Obviously, the chemistry, the acting was great, but I felt more frustrated than like, okay, this is so intense, this is so addictive. So I would give this a 7 out of 10. Then for C-dramas, I have two modern romances. The first one is Road Home, and it stars Seven Tan and Jingbo Ran. I just love how sweet and tender the male lead is here. The writers knew what they were doing. He's just very attentive from the start. The romance with the separations for like 12 years, yet every single glance and word she says to him, he keeps in his heart, and it just makes me swoon every time. Such a nice trope that we don't get to see often, and this was one of those cases where you can feel just how much he yearns and loves her, and that's just great acting on Jingbo Ran's part. I love that he was from the SWAT team, so he's very short, cold, and commanding. But he's also a super gentleman and total softie with her. Like, this girl would just wash her hands or try to learn how to change her tire, and he's like, yeah, no need, sit down. And it's in a gentle way, not like a super I'm an alpha male way. It's more of like a gentle vibe where it's like, I'll take care of you. It's protective and sweet. So the chemistry is great, which is the number one thing in a modern romance. You need to sell it with the relationship, and the writing for each character was good. I didn't get annoyed of any of the characters, which is great. They did things where I was like, okay, this is reasonable and what a normal, mature adult would do. Like, the tropes didn't feel tropey, which is probably the best compliment I can give to any modern romance. Modern romance is definitely not my jam. And it's because I've been traumatized by how many dramas that just keeps on dragging and dragging the plot or putting filler content. But this didn't feel like that at all. Probably one of the reasons why this one felt like it's different and it's just well paced is because the actual writer of the novel worked on this script, so that's really great. The snowy setting is really nice too. It's just giving that very cozy drama vibe, and I think that I can probably watch this again and again. I was reading comments and reviews on this, and everybody's right. They're saying that the male lead is literally a green light or green flags all day and every day. Super open and honest, worried about her. The skinship and intimate moments just hit different. And it's amazing how they fall for each other more and more every day. Like, little moments where she just appreciates him and he appreciates her as well. And it's just really sweet. 710 is really good. The only problem is her dramas are hit or miss. I think after Go Ahead, most of her dramas has been tropey in terms of romance, but this one is good. The crying scenes were great. Hugging scenes, adorable moments. It's hard to find a script and production team that takes this time developing their characters. Also, the SWAT team was super fun. Love that group team dynamic and the bromance. I never skipped a minute, so I don't think there are any complaints from me. So I guess I have to give it a 10 out of 10. Okay, I didn't expect this episode to be so long, but it's probably going to be 20 minutes. I usually give each drama around like 4 to 5 minutes. The next one to review is Love is Sweet. And this took me a couple of years, I'm not gonna lie, but I told myself, okay, I'm gonna watch it once till the end of the moon airs. So while I'm waiting for that drama, I can always go back here and kind of compare how much their acting has developed over the years. So this is a very unique experience, and I think it helped me kind of keep on going because I did not like this drama at all until like episode 10 or so. I have said it many times and I'll say it again, business romances are definitely not my jam. I think there's nothing in an office romance setting that's particularly interesting unless it's very short and sweet, and this one wasn't. It has 36 episodes and it felt really long, especially the first half. I think most of it is because how much I disliked the second couple so much. I couldn't stand their interactions. They were just so tropey and really annoying. Also, Riley Wang, who plays Lo Yun-shi's brother, is not the best actor. You can clearly tell when he's standing in a room full of like Bai Lu or Lo Yun-shi that he is the weaker link. He's just so stiff. It's fine when he's like alone and there's no one to compare him with, but he's really awkward and he just stands out. If you rewatch it, I think you'll see it, especially now that I pointed it out. But yeah, it was like every scene when he was with someone else, I was like, yeah, his acting is so unnatural to me. Well, there wasn't a lot of good things I have to say for like the first 15 or 16 episodes. I really liked the OST. Another thing I just couldn't stand, and it's definitely a nitpick or personal preference, is that I was thinking to myself, does the stylist have something against the second female lead? Because her hair is atrocious. The random high side pony that nobody ever wears in real life, plus the perm makes it so much worse. I don't know, it's not giving. And like the bangs too, nah. Like one high side ponytail, that is so odd. unfortunately, besides the main couple, which I know everybody's here for, and kind of ignores the rest of the drama, but they only got together literally episode 20. So the first 20 episodes was very hard for me to get through. There were some bantering between them, but definitely episodes should have been shortened, at least like 10 episodes. I really wanted to like this, and I finally did after they got together as a couple. And after that, I feel like the writers were like, okay, we made them wait too long, so let's give them all of the cute and sweet scenes. And yeah, we got a lot of great kissing scenes and moments that didn't feel forced. It was very playful and funny. Like the office kisses made me laugh out loud by how obvious they were. They were clearly so in love. Like, it was so obvious, him skipping into the office and like singing and whistling after they got together. Also, another scene that I wrote down that was so funny to me was when they went to visit her mother, and her mom was just so against him, but then turned 180 degrees because of a miscommunication. That was funny, how she thought he had a girlfriend, and her poor daughter is in love with the man who's taken. So she prays to her dead husband to put a curse on him, basically. But once she figures out, okay, he's not a bad guy at all, like her tune changes, and it's the funniest thing. Thankfully, the third act conflict actually makes sense. So the thing with her father, that backstory, I'm glad that it wasn't a situation where, okay, this is a random conflict we're just going to throw in there because, oh, we forgot that every single romance, they usually break up and then some misunderstandings happen and then they come back together after 3 or 4 episodes. This one felt earned, if that makes sense. And yeah, it just makes sense. So I applaud the writing team for that. The second male lead's acting was pretty solid. He nailed it, I think, in the crying scenes and the anger. I felt the intensity and the things that he didn't say, just through his posture, his body language, and his eyes. My favorite part of the drama definitely has to be the time skip moment, which I was surprised and pleasantly surprised. So lots of dramas, they just show them, okay, they're dating, happy, skip forward, here's the wedding, that's it. Over here, I feel like I love the parts where they slow down and you get these intimate conversations between the couple to show that they're a healthy couple. It's not just a bunch of random montage. Yes, they live together, blah, 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 they're getting married. It's to show how mature they are and how supportive they are throughout the years. So there was this big decision where he was telling her to basically quit her job, and she was like, no way, she is a workaholic. He is too, but he just sees how much pressure that has on her. But in the end, he caves in, he apologizes, and says he respects her and her choice no matter what she chooses. And we stand a loving, caring, and respectful relationship where they can still be their individual selves, have differences, and not agree on everything. But at the end of the day, they'll still love and support each other. The ending was super satisfying. The proposal scene was really nice. I think most proposal scenes are, but this one just stood out a little bit more because I liked how they showed the little bloopers and how many times he failed before the final proposal. So yeah, I would give this a maybe 7 or 7.5 out of 10. Honestly, it could have been 26 episodes and I would gladly give it an 8.5. And last but definitely not least is a surprising watch. It's called Provoke, and this one has 25 episodes. It's super short though, around 18 minutes an episode. You can probably watch this in 1 or 2 sittings. This is one set in like the Chinese Republican times, which I know we're all traumatized about because there's just way too many dramas that are full of politics, blah, blah, blah. This one knows exactly what we want and they give it to us quickly, especially with that pacing. So there's no problem there, especially the writing here is quite tight. Every single episode, it kind of ends like a soap opera vibe where there's a little cliffhanger. And this is because it is a revenge romance story, almost like a forbidden love. It's about a woman who takes revenge on a man who basically destroyed her entire family. And that man is actually the male lead's father. So yes, she has a thing going on with the male lead and the father, but the father is because she wants to get revenge. And the male lead sees right through her. So it's this intense, like almost cat and mouse game, but he's technically on her side. It's forbidden love because obviously they can't be caught. And despite the first episode, I've seen a lot of comments saying that they expected more steaminess from this drama. They really set it up to be that way, where there's going to be like infidelity, cheating, stuff like that. But that's not really the case. The story is actually much more innocent and sweeter than you think because the female lead is just so traumatized. The romance is very healing and he really understands her as a person. Lots of things get revealed and it's so addictive. Truly couldn't stop watching this one. And it's actually made by the same team that did An Unfamiliar Stranger and The Killer is Romantic. Both were great dramas that surprised me, and once again this one surprised me as well. So hopefully we'll get a new little web series every single year. I think the team just knows exactly what we want. A good pace that makes sense, pretty solid acting, and some good romance. The tension in the room, some days when they're just looking at each other, you're like, wow, like nothing's happening, but something's happening, if you know. I'm like, that is just good directing. I honestly love to see that these smaller web series are popping off and they're getting more love because it just gives a lot of younger or lesser known actors a chance to shine. And also the same goes to the production team, the writers, like a time to shine, and you really see that they have creative ideas and stuff. Yes, this does sound like tropey, melodrama, old school, but it's so addictive. I think it's a great watch. If you're looking for something short and sweet, check it out. Give it like 3 episodes or so, and if you don't like it, then hey, at least you just wasted like what, maybe an hour the most. Just don't go in expecting that the budget will be spectacular and everything's gonna look beautiful. It's not like that. Like nothing really stands out as atrocious. But you know, it's not a cinematic masterpiece either. Anyways, hope you enjoy this episode. I'm currently watching a bunch of dramas, trying to catch up, still trying to finish Twin Flower. I don't know, maybe I should just give up on that one. But it's fine. Like sometimes I do the dishes and just put it on. 13 Years of Dust is something I recommend, and I'm not even that far into it. It's a crime mystery drama, quite good. Good pacing, good cases, good acting. And The Love You Give Me is super cute, so I'm enjoying that one as well. And obviously I'm trying to finish till the end of the moon, so if I finish these dramas near the same time, then I'll have a final review out earlier than next month's wrap up. But anyways, let me know your thoughts on any of these dramas, your ratings, maybe some recommendations. I also want to check out some other K-dramas, so if you have some recommendations. I haven't watched like any in 2023. Started Our Blooming Youth, but I'm slowly watching that one. So let me know if you have any other recommendations, and I'll see you guys in the next one.